In the beginning, we see a man desperately running for his life into a narrow alley. Before he can even understand what's happening, a girl suddenly appears in front of him and, without hesitation, shoots him, ending his life on the spot. Just as the shock settles in, the scene shifts, and we are introduced to our main character, Seigi. He is in the middle of a brutal fight with a group of thugs, and with sharp, powerful moves, he beats one man so badly that another wets his pants in fear and runs away. After the fight, Seigi walks over to an injured man sitting nearby, who thanks him for saving his life. Then, from his bag, the injured man pulls out a strange stone marked with a tattoo and calmly tells Seigi that this stone will lead him to the truth of the world. Before Seigi can ask any questions, the man presses the stone into his hand. Moments later, the stone begins to melt and the tattoo transfers onto Seigi's hand, leaving him completely confused and panicking inside as he wonders what on earth is happening to him. Yet the man silently leaves without explaining anything. And the next day, as Seigi rushes to school, believing things are back to normal, a girl suddenly appears in front of him and attacks him out of nowhere, sending him spinning and crashing to the ground. And when she apologizes and grabs his hand to help him up, a sudden electric shock runs through her body, making her freeze in terror before she quickly escapes. And later at school, Seigi tells his friend about how he saved a man and received this strange tattoo. And his friend casually jokes that Seigi is always running around saving people, to which Seigi proudly replies that of course he would, because his grandpa taught him martial arts. And another friend jumps into the conversation saying there's an online rumor that America is developing a secret weapon called the ceiling combat device, and Seigi's tattoo looks exactly like it. And before Seigi can think too much, his friend Tuka interrupts and forcefully drags him to the market, yelling at him like a wife who won't take no for an answer. And Seigi jokes that all tough guys become timid after marriage, and later, while shopping, Seigi steps outside to call his grandpa, but the same mysterious girl suddenly appears, snatches his phone, and runs. And Seigi recognizes her and chases her into a ruined building where she demands to know where he got the tattoo, and without waiting for his answer, she launches a relentless attack. But Seigi uses his martial arts to defend himself, and she declares that the tattoo is an American secret weapon and he must return it, attacking him again. And Seigi struggles desperately to block her strikes, tries to counter and throw her down, but she overpowers him, slams him away, beats him brutally, and finally holds a knife to his throat. Yet in a sudden shift, she drops her guard, apologizes cutely, and admits she may have gone too far, leaving Seigi stunned and muttering that women are impossible to understand. And she then calmly admits that he blocked most of her attacks without even using the tattoo's power, saying she can't believe he's only in middle school, and Seigi angrily snaps that he knows nothing about the tattoo, and she agrees, saying it's not something kids should play with, which annoys Seigi, who fires back that she looks like a kid too, and she responds that she only looks like one, then removes her gloves to reveal her own tattoo and explains that these tattoos need a trigger, that they are scientific weapons which draw out a person's hidden power, and her trigger is chalk, and she crushes a piece of chalk, creating highly compressed air that explodes violently, and the scene shifts to Seigi training with his grandpa, who warns him that survival requires strength. And Seigi recalls his late father telling him as a child that when you're sad you should think about the future and reach out for what you want, and fueled by that memory, Seigi tries to activate his own tattoo by breaking chalk, but nothing happens, and days pass with the girl constantly watching him from a distance, until a man named Tom tells her she revealed too many secrets to the boy, and she scolds him for calling her lieutenant in public, revealing her name is Blues. And later, Seigi asks her how to use the tattoo, and she explains everyone's trigger is different, and suddenly a tattooed man attacks them. Seigi throws him down with martial arts, but the man stands back up, overpowers Seigi, and reveals he also has a tattoo and incredible strength. Yet Seigi refuses to back down, and Blues tells them to let him fight, and Seigi dodges attacks, lands a powerful punch, but is still beaten badly until in that critical moment he reaches forward, remembers his father's words about becoming stronger, and his tattoo finally activates, unleashing a devastating attack that sends the enemy flying, and Blues recognizes the power in shock, calling it a void maker, something she never expected to see. And when Seigi wakes up, he finds Blues and Tom in his room, telling him they are from the US Army, and their mission is to recover tattoos in the wrong hands, warning him that if he refuses, they may have to cut off his arm, and that misuse of the tattoo could kill him. But there is another option if he joins them, and Seigi explodes in anger, grabbing Blues and accusing her of causing all this, and threatening him instead of apologizing. But she twists his arm and coldly tells him that power always demands sacrifice, revealing she is trapped in a child's body because of it, and gives him one day to decide. And the next day, she joins his class as a transfer student, shocking Seigi, and later she slips a note into his pocket, and on the rooftop she explains that these tattoos are ancient and not made by modern humans. And when Seigi asks why they're in the army, she says they're preventing war because if kingdoms obtain these tattoos, the world will fall into chaos, and Seigi agrees but warns them he won't forgive betrayal. And as she she leaves, Blues reveals she discovered his trigger is blood, and later Tom asks if they should report it, but Blues refuses, fearing experiments, and the next day, Seigi secretly heads to meet Blues, checks Tuka's house so she won't find out, but she notices and follows him, and as Seigi enters the house, Tuka watches from behind, and just as she tries to leave, a strange girl grabs her and places a hand on her forehead, and the scene cuts abruptly right there. She calmly tells him over the phone to wait for her a little longer because she will be back home soon, and after that, Tom asks Sagi to go down to the basement and bring up some cardboard boxes, so Sagi heads downstairs to get them, and right at that moment, Tom receives a call that makes his expression change, because he learns that a kingdom leader named Aryabhata has killed the royal couple and seized the throne, and just as Tom is about to call Blues to inform her, the doorbell rings, and the instant Tom opens the door, he is suddenly attacked, and when Sagi comes back up from the basement carrying the boxes, he is shocked to see that the one attacking Tom is none other than Tuka, and the scene cuts sharply there. Then the focus shifts to Blues at school, where a man suddenly attacks her from behind, but Blues narrowly avoids the strike with sharp reflexes, and the man announces that the kingdom now has a new ruler, Aryabhata, and that he belongs to her personal tattoo force called Bearmanka, and as soon as he says this, he launches continuous attacks on Blues, while on the other side, Tuka coldly says that she must kill the one with the Voidmaker tattoo and bring him back to the princess, leaving Sagi completely confused by her strange words, not realizing yet what they truly mean as the episode ends there. And then the story moves forward to show Tuka in an unfamiliar place where Princess Aryabhata bumps into a girl who is staring at the food in her hand, and Arya cruelly tells her that if she licks her shoes clean with her tongue, she will give her the food, provoking the girl to attack her, but Arya effortlessly blocks the attack, pulls her close, kisses her, and says that people like her can do anything to achieve their goals, which is exactly why she needs someone like her, revealing the girl's name to be Lily, and meanwhile Tom urges Sagi to run away, explaining that this girl came from the kingdom to kill him, but Sagi refuses to believe it, insisting she is his friend Tuka, unaware that Lily is inside her body, and suddenly Tuka's mouth speaks with a different voice, saying she is only using this body before attacking him, while elsewhere Blues continues fighting the man at school and mocks him by saying he made two huge mistakes. First, not killing her before her tattoo activated, and second, ruining her brand new uniform, and she throws a stone that explodes near him, using the blast to escape, while back with Sagi, Lily keeps attacking relentlessly, and Sagi barely manages to block, trying to use his tattoo's power, but losing control, almost getting killed, until Tuka's will fights back from inside, stopping Lily and declaring that she will not allow this because Sagi is her hero and her prince, forcing Lily to lose control of the body, and Tom immediately tells Sagi to strike, and Sagi hits Tuka hard on the head, knocking her down, giving Tom the chance to forcibly extract Lily from her body, and Lily instantly attacks Tom with lethal intent, but Sagi pulls her back and angrily unleashes Voidmaker, erasing half the house in a devastating blast, though Lily escapes, retreating after receiving a call from the man who fought Blues, and afterwards Sagi apologizes to Tuka for dragging her into danger, but she reassures him that he was fighting for her, so there is no need to apologize. And later, Sagi trains with Blues, who explains that he will soon get used to being in drive state, which is when the tattoo remains active, while Tom secretly covers the new tattoo that has appeared on Tuka's forehead with a sticker, and when Sagi asks about it, Blues admits she has never seen such a tattoo, and that even they do not fully understand tattoos, which makes Sagi question how they can use something they barely understand, only for Blues to snap back that Sagi himself knows nothing either, yet still uses it, and she then shows him footage warning that Voidmaker is extremely dangerous, and if left uncontrolled, it will swallow everything, even its owner, forcing Sagi to promise never to use it without her permission. And after Tom gives Sagi and Tuka a device that detects nearby tattoo activation, they leave, and Tom tells Blues they should send Sagi to the US Army because they alone cannot protect him from the kingdom, but Blues walks away saying she needs time to think. While kingdom members secretly observe Sagi and Tuka and decide to keep watching them for now, then Blues is seen shopping with another woman who later provides information about her next target, a woman named Lisa, asking why they were attacked and why children keep coming to her house, which Blues brushes off as just friends, and then kingdom members discuss how US Army deputies are involved, pointing at a photo of Lisa, and later Sagi easily captures a man trying to escape with a stolen tattoo, mocking him for not running fast enough, knocking him out with one punch, making Blues realize that after only 2 weeks of training, he has become frighteningly strong, as if the tattoo was made just for him, while elsewhere, Lisa and her team are eating, when Lily jumps from a helicopter into their house and slaughters everyone brutally, sparing only Lisa, who manages to attack with her tattoo. Cutting the scene, then Tuka and Blues are in sports class where Tuka performs an incredible jump that stuns everyone, making Blues realize her tattoo has activated, and suddenly Tom calls Blues, ordering her to ahead immediately to Lisa's team, prompting Blues to rush out as Sagi also receives the signal and follows her, arriving at the battlefield where Lisa and Lily are fighting, with Lisa praising Lily's audacity before attacking relentlessly, only to be easily blocked and injured, using a fire extinguisher to create smoke. Yet Lily keeps attacking through it, and as Blues advances, she is ambushed and crushed under increased gravity by the same man from before who mocks her and leaves her to watch, until Sagi arrives, while Lily tells Lisa she will take her as a sample, provoking Lisa into a desperate attack that ends in an explosion, and Blues begs Sagi to save Lisa, but when he arrives, the building is filled with corpses and Lisa is nowhere to be found, until he reaches the rooftop where Lily hangs Lisa from a pole, admitting she killed everyone below, and Sagi attacks in rage but is thrown off the building, only saved by Tom at the last moment, who scolds him for coming and warns him they have hidden the truth about him for too long. And later at school, Tuka confronts Sagi, but he angrily grabs her hand and runs away, while Blues and Tom search the building and find Lisa's phone playing a recording that reveals she will be taken back to the kingdom tonight, prompting Blues to call headquarters for reinforcements. And when Sagi returns to Blues and Tom's house with Tuka, Blues thanks them before suddenly slamming Sagi to the ground, handcuffing him, and leaving, with Tom explaining this is to protect him because Blues broke the rules by hiding him, and if he falls into enemy hands, she will be punished severely. But Sagi refuses to sit still, breaks the handcuffs, declares he will choose his own path, knocks Tom unconscious when he tries to stop him, and escapes with Tuka, while elsewhere Blues moves to stop Lily and that man, as the tension tightens and everything races toward the next clash. She pulls back as the man and Lily step out of their vehicle and move forward to fight, and the moment they appear outside, Blues' soldiers open non-stop gunfire on them. Yet shockingly, the bullets have no effect at all, and then the man counterattacks with terrifying force, killing a soldier instantly, and when he turns to strike Blues, she narrowly dodges and leaps from above, firing her gun down at him, while at the same time Lily moves like a blur, cutting through soldiers one by one with frightening speed, and Tom desperately tries to guide everyone by calling out Lily's position from afar, but her movements are far too fast, advancing again before he can even finish speaking. And just then, Tom notices that Sagi and Tuka have arrived on their bicycle, and the instant they reach the scene, Lily attacks them, knocking them both down, and in that moment, Sagi pulls out a blood pack, activating his tattoo at once, and Lily immediately rushes him with rapid attacks so fast that Sagi barely survives by inches, until he finally uses his tattoo's power to shatter Lily's sword in half. But she retaliates with a brutal kick that sends him crashing hard to the ground, and as she walks toward him ready to finish him, Tom urgently tells Tuka to let him speak to Sagi because there is something crucial he must say, and Tuka throws an earpiece to Sagi, through which Tom explains that if Sagi wants to defeat Lily, he must first make sure no one else is watching their fight, admitting it is only a theory that might or might not be true. And hearing this, Sagi closes his eyes, causing Lily to pause as well, mocking him by asking if he truly believes he can beat her like this. And then she attacks again, reminding him that another girl is watching their battle, and the scene shifts to show Lisa inside a van regaining consciousness and struggling to break free from her restraints. While back at the fight, Sagi is severely injured, blood pouring from his body as he screams in agony. And seeing this, Tuka's tattoo activates and she lunges at Lily, grabbing her, only to be kicked away violently. And in that moment, Sagi hears a voice inside urging him to use Voidmaker and erase everything at once because destruction is its true purpose. But Sagi shouts back that he will never take a life, and forcing himself up, he uses Voidmaker to erase the ground beneath Lily and Tuka, causing them both to fall. And without hesitation, Sagi jumps down, attacks Lily again, and saves Tuka, and afterward Lily tells him to kill her, but Sagi answers that he did not want to kill her, only to kill her way of thinking. And suddenly, Princess Aryabhata appears, prompting Sagi to step back as dizziness overwhelms him and he nearly collapses. But Arya catches him and kisses him, telling him that if he had not used Voidmaker correctly, Lily and Tuka would both be dead, praising his potential before vanishing with Lily. While elsewhere, Blues continues her fight with the man, firing compressed air from her gun and knocking him back before launching relentless attacks that badly injure him. And just as she finishes him and he tries to flee, Blues collapses, unable to use her tattoo again, leaving her vulnerable until Lisa suddenly appears and kicks the man down, shooting him alongside Blues and ending him together. And at that moment, Arya appears, grabbing the man and declaring the fight over, then disappearing when Sagi and Tuka arrive, leaving Sagi with the warning to learn more about his tattoo because he will need it in the future. And later, Blues faces punishment before an army colonel who tells her she must take responsibility for Sagi and protect him. While elsewhere, Sagi and Tuka are walking when Arya and Lily appear again, enraging Tuka so much that she challenges Arya to a table tennis match on the spot, where Tuka holds her own at first but is eventually defeated, and afterward, Sagi asks Arya about the tattoos, prompting her to ask his reason for fighting. And when Sagi says he wants to stop war between the kingdom and America, America so no one dies, Arya replies that if her goal succeeds, no one in that world will need to fight anymore, and if he wants all the answers, he must join her. And later, Sagi sits with Blues and Tom, asking what the US Army plans to do after collecting the tattoos. And Blues admits she is not sure, but believes America may try to rule the world, causing Sagi to refuse to side with them, though he promises to help as a partner to stop war. And later, while jogging, Sagi is ambushed by a kingdom man who easily blocks all his attacks and defeats him, and soon after, Blues receives a call from the same man, recognizing him when he mentions her name, and when she asks if he is Blood, he confirms and tells her he is taking her boy with him for a short time and will return him by morning, taking Sagi to a physics lab in Japan used for tattoo research, where Blood explains that under Arya's orders, they are researching how to shut down tattoo effects through human experimentation, and he intends to stop it, revealing that he left Bearmanka and now opposes the kingdom. And after hearing this, Sagi agrees to follow him as they enter the building, where Blood explains that there are only 4 tattoos in total, 1 with the US, 2 with the kingdom, and the last one being searched for in Japan. And as they move forward, Blood suddenly kicks Sagi back to protect him from gunfire, defeats an attacker with ease, and inside the building, a mad scientist welcomes them on screen, mocking Blood as second-rate, only to reveal he expected them and trap them by pressing a button that opens countless gates around them, sealing their fate as the tension tightens even further. As soon as the gates open, dozens of people pour out, each of them bearing what look like original tattoos on their arms, and the mad scientist proudly announces that these are the results of his experiments, explaining that although their tattoos are only copies, they are just as powerful as the originals. And he adds with twisted delight that once these people lose consciousness, their bodies will explode. So if Sagi and Blood truly want to save them, the only option is to calmly die at their hands. And hearing this, Sagi feels rage boiling inside him, yet Blood calmly asks him what he thinks a true hero of justice should do in a moment like this, leaving Sagi unable to answer as confusion grips him, and Blood then declares that he will save everyone, and immediately all the tattoo soldiers attack Sagi and Blood together as the scene cuts, shifting to Arya Bhatta walking through an underground tunnel with Lily and another girl, where Arya confidently says that even without realizing it, Blood is dancing on her fingers, and the other girl coldly claims responsibility for killing Blood because a traitor deserves no right to live. While back in the lab, Sagi and Blood are surrounded, and Blood announces that he will now show what it truly means to be a hero of justice, activating his tattoo, and in the blink of an eye, every attacker collapses to the ground, shocking the scientist who desperately tries to trigger the bombs inside their bodies only to fail, prompting Blood to casually reveal that he already removed the bombs, leaving the scientist stunned, and as Blood moves to attack him and his assistant, he pauses to lecture Sagi, explaining that a hero must think before killing, because if he kills now, someone else will seek revenge, and the cycle of hatred will never end. And with that, he knocks them unconscious instead of killing them, the lab is seized, and Sagi realizes that Blood truly embodies justice. Then the scene shifts to Arya Bhatta stripping and entering a stone, before cutting back to Blood speaking to the scientist, thanking him for cooperating, but revealing that his body will not last much longer and that they will need to use Sagi, making it clear that this was all part of a larger plan. And it is revealed that the very scientist who gave Sagi the tattoo was part of it. And the next day, Blood trains Sagi in using Voidmaker, while Blues speaks with Blood, and it is revealed he was once a US Army major before joining the kingdom, and when Blues asks why he went there, he turns away in silence until she stops him. And placing a hand on her head, Blood explains that the situation has grown dire, that ruins are not just storage for tattoos, but tools to reshape the world, requiring 4 runes, 2 of which Arya already possesses, revealing her true goal is to change the world itself, and he urges Blues to protect the final rune while he stops Arya, then leaves, and later Sagi and Tuka talk as Tuka admits that because of the tattoo, she can now be part of the world Sagi belongs to, saying she does not like danger, but if he is with her, she has no fear, and Sagi reassures her that as long as they are together, everything will be fine, making Tuka smile brightly, and then Sagi and Tuka ride in a helicopter with the US Army toward the rune where Arya is located, with Sagi asking the colonel why Tuka must come, and the colonel promises to keep her safe and help investigate her tattoo, introducing Captain Johnson and Leonardo along with Blues, Tom, and Lisa, backed by multiple helicopters full of soldiers, while the scientist informs Blood that the US Army is about to attack Arya, making Blood desperate to go. But the scientist warns him that Arya's vice captain possesses Berman's strongest tattoo and that fighting now would mean certain death, yet the US Army launches the assault anyway, firing missiles and guns from helicopters as the main team jumps down, including Sagi, and ahead of them stands Berman's vice captain, terrifying beyond belief. And when Johnson recklessly effortlessly charges her, she slices his body in two in an instant and beheads him before he can even feel pain, calmly introducing herself as Sherry. And inside the stone, Arya is informed of the attack and empowers Lily's tattoo further before sending her out, while outside Sherry and her allies overwhelm the US Army. And Sagi moves to attack Sherry but remembers Blood's words about justice, realizing she is far too powerful and deciding instead to push toward Arya, only to be slashed from behind by Sherry and collapse injured. And then Lily emerges, transforming into a massive ferocious lion, attacking helicopters and causing multiple crashes, including the one carrying the Colonel and Tuka, who narrowly escape, only for Sherry to appear ready to fight the Colonel until Blues arrives. And elsewhere, Arya emerges from the stone, which shatters and releases countless tattoos, while Blues fires at Sherry to no effect before using compressed air to injure her slightly. But Sherry nullifies the damage with a barrier, slices off the Colonel's hand, blinds him, and breaks Blues' left arm, leaving her helpless as Sherry moves to kill her until Blood arrives and stands before Blues, prompting Sherry to mock him for risking his life for a woman, making Blues realize this was all a trap to draw him out, while Sagi watches unable to move as Arya appears and mocks Blood's refusal to kill, declaring he will lose. Enraging Sagi, who tries to attack but is pinned to the wall by Arya, who impales his hand with wood, belittles him as a clueless middle-class child, reveals she leaked the location to the US Army knowing he and Blues would come, exposes that Blood and Blues were lovers and that Blood fell into her trap to save her, declaring she will absorb him and obtain the second key and promising to teach Sagi real pain and hatred, impaling him further, while elsewhere Blood and Sherry fight, and Blood suddenly asks if she loves him, flustering her into admitting it, only for Blood to laugh and pull Blues close, saying his heart already belongs to her, enraging Sherry into attacking as Blood blocks her, cutting to a flashback of Blues resting her head on Blood's legs as he asks if she truly hates tattoos, and she admits she hates anything that stole everything from her. And returning to the present, Blood tells Blues to stay back and fight Sherry while ordering her to help Sagi. And as Blues searches for him, Lisa arrives to find the Colonel wounded and calls for help. But the helicopters are destroyed, Tom escorts Tuka to safety, while Sagi desperately tries to activate Voidmaker but cannot. As Arya explains, her Voidmaker is suppressing his, and as Tuka breaks free to run to Sagi, Tom cannot follow due to his injuries, while Lily fights Lisa and Leonardo. Leonardo traps Lily's leg in the ground, and Lisa attacks with fire until Lily vanishes and strikes Lisa, saved by Leonardo, who freezes Lily's arm and blasts her, while Blues finds Sagi only to be seized by Arya. Blood collapses wounded as Sherry declares he will not escape, yet Blood forces himself up, overusing his tattoo to beg for 5 more minutes of power, while Arya coldly explains her belief that humanity refuses to accept change and thus destroys the planet, declaring her intent to rebuild humanity from the beginning, leaving Sagi in stunned silence as the fate of everyone hangs on the edge. It becomes clear that her plan is not just to rebuild humanity, but to wipe out all humans first, because she does not simply want to remake people, she wants to use the power of the tattoos to turn herself into a god. And as this realization settles in, the fight between Sherry and Blood grows even more intense, with Blood clearly starting to lose under Sherry's relentless attacks, and seeing this, Blues breaks down in tears and desperately begs Sagi to use Voidmaker to save Blood, telling him that only he can do it now. And hearing her plea, Sagi speaks directly to his tattoo, asking it if it understands what is happening here, and pleading for power, begging for enough strength to defeat Aryabhata. And suddenly Sagi rushes forward, intercepts Sherry's attack, and in that opening, Blood places his hand on Sherry's head and finally defeats her. But at the same time, Blood's own tattoo begins consuming him from within, and realizing what is happening, Blood urgently tells Sagi to consume him immediately, yet Sagi is frozen in shock, unable to understand why Blood would say such a thing, crying out that they were supposed to defeat Princess Arya together. And at that moment, the hidden Voidmaker inside Sagi's tattoo emerges, while Arya shouts that she will not allow this. But before she can stop it, the Colonel launches a missile toward the rune, forcing Arya to divert her attention. And in that instant, Sagi's Voidmaker consumes Blood, leaving Sagi staring in absolute horror as it happens right in front of his eyes. And Arya approaches him coldly, reminding him that she promised to show him real pain and hatred. But before she can continue, Tuka arrives, overjoyed to see Sagi alive, running toward him without hesitation, only for Lily to appear from behind and strike Tuka down, killing her instantly. And the moment Sagi sees this, his vision goes dark, his mind collapsing into shock as he can no longer process what is happening. And as Arya leaves, she tells Lily that now the story will truly become interesting, because a hero who has lost everything, who has no reason left to live, will be filled only with hatred that thirsts for revenge. And she wonders with amusement what a hero of justice will do next. And then the scene shifts to Sagi sitting silently in one place, completely empty, while a man explains to him that the monster inside a tattoo is called the Source, and when given its trigger trigger, it allows its abilities to be used. But every time that power is used, the body is destroyed little by little until nothing remains. And when someone asks for power instead of relying on their soul, the tattoo consumes them. Explaining that Blood tried to control this before the source could consume him, revealing that the speaker is the same scientist who gave Sagi the tattoo and worked with Blood, and he tells Sagi that Blood entrusted him with taking care of him, admitting that Sagi has lost his way due to his weakness, and that since he brought him into this world, he must now make amends, only for Blues to appear behind him with a gun, shocked to find him there. And the scientist calmly explains that he is fulfilling Blood's final wish, reminding Blues that he supported Blood in Japan when he was alive and now intends to complete what he could not, asking both of them to trust him and come along, prompting Blues to ask what Blood's final wish was, and the scientist reveals that Blood wanted to erase all tattoos from the world, triggering Blues to remember when she once said she hated tattoos with all her heart, and then the scientist leads them into his lab, explaining that tattoos possess their own will, known as the Source, and that Blood met his fate because he overused his tattoo, causing Sagi to realize in fear that the same will happen to him, only to be told that he must become mentally strong, which enrages Sagi as he shouts that strength will not change anything, that it will not bring Blood or Tuka back or restore Blues' lost arm, and the scientist bluntly tells him that this fight proved how weak, foolish, and ignorant he still is, and that he must work far harder, revealing that Sagi still carries a part of Blood within him and offering to show him Blood's memories, because those memories are Blood's past and Sagi's future. And Sagi begins witnessing Blood's memories, where Blood fights Sherry to join Berman, hands over US Army top secrets to the kingdom, and is welcomed by Arya Bhatta into Berman, greeted by its captain Ajita and another member named Verma, after which Arya declares Blood a Berman member and grants him the rare triggerless tattoo, warning him that if he betrays her, she will kill him to reclaim it. And afterward, Blood secretly begins planning how to destroy the tattoos, learning about a place called Samsara within the kingdom that is extremely difficult to access, and while observing Samsara from afar, he encounters Verma, knocks him down, and demands why he is there, only for Verma to explain that the king ordered him to watch the princess, revealing that Samsara is where tattoo research is conducted and that Arya has taken control of it, guarded by only one guardian, and suddenly a girl appears and attacks them, forcing Blood to tell Verma to flee. But the girl brutally attacks Verma, breaking his arm, though Verma fully heals himself using his tattoo, and later Verma brings Blood before the king, arguing that working with Blood could stop the princess, which the king accepts, after which Arya orders Blood and Sherry to guard the first rune and kill anyone who approaches, and when Blood suggests keeping a captured US soldier alive as a prisoner, Sherry mocks him for being unable to kill his former comrades, to which Blood replies that he simply refuses to take lives, prompting Sherry to smile and brutally tear the soldier apart herself. And Blood continues his research until one night he and Verma infiltrate Samsara, where Blood fights the guardian girl, fails to knock her out at first, but once he understands her trigger, he attacks with his tattoo, and Verma traps her with a barrier, allowing Blood to knock her unconscious, and they reach a room where a woman welcomes them, introducing herself as Kujali, Arya Bhatta's elder sister, explaining that they all live together in that room and that it is their entire world, revealing that after ruling for 35 years, the king realized his true power and wanted to reshape the world, but could not reach the control point of the runes, so the sisters were created for that purpose, with Arya being the most perfect. And when Verma questions why she tells them this, despite being enemies, Kujali admits she does not hate humans as much as Arya and wishes to stop her, until other girls attack, only to be restrained by Kujali, and later Sherry calls to check in, but another girl exposes Blood and Verma, forcing Blood to flee while Verma is badly injured by Sherry, and they learn that Arya's goal is not just revenge on the king, but changing the entire world, that thousands were experimented on, bodies torn apart while alive, young girls forcibly impregnated, all to create Arya as a tool, and enraged Blood confronts the king, blaming him for everything, but the king admits his mistake of raising Arya as a daughter instead of a tool, and leads Blood through an underground tunnel, begging him to escape and warn the world of Arya's plan, asking him to save the country and its people, after which Blood escapes, and when Arya learns of this, she orders Sherry to hunt him down at all costs to reclaim the tattoo, and Blood later boards a ship at sea, declaring that Arya will never see her dreams fulfilled, and with that, Blood's memories finally come to an end as the weight of his past settles heavily over Sagi. Blood stands right in front of him and admits that in the end, he remained a weak man, and that is why he needs Sagi's help, yet Sagi lowers his eyes and apologizes, saying he cannot do it, that if Blood himself could not accomplish it, then how could he, especially when he could not even save Tuka, and Blood answers calmly that once only Blues believed in him, but now Kujali, Verma, and even the king also trust him, and that this weight is too heavy heavy for him alone. But if Sagi helps him, then he is ready to keep fighting, because his future now rests entirely in Sagi's hands. And after hearing this, Sagi finally takes Blood's hand and the scene fades. Then the story jumps 1 year ahead, where Sagi and Blues are fishing together in a forest, and Sagi has grown much taller than before, and that night everyone trains together, attacking Sagi from all sides, while Blues, who lost an arm before, now fights using an artificial one, and when she fires at Sagi, he suddenly appears behind her, shoots her down, and then effortlessly slams another attacker rushing him, even defeating Tom with a knife attack, and everyone stares in disbelief, telling him he has become incredibly strong in such a short time, asking how he learned all this, and Sagi simply replies that he can now see everything clearly in front of his eyes, and just then, Blues receives a call revealing that the kingdom has discovered their hideout, prompting her to decide they should return to headquarters, and Sagi hands her a disc, saying it seems the enemy wanted them to see this, and when they play it, Aryabhata appears on a beach in a swimsuit, smiling casually as she calls Sagi by name, remarking on how fast time has passed since a year ago, asking if he is well, and inviting him to meet her soon at the Grand Canyon to help her, calling him her dear enemy, and as the camera shifts, it reveals Lisa being held captive, and after the video ends, Blues declares she will go save her friends no matter what, but the scientist stops her, leading Sagi to protest, only for the scientist to explain that he did not make Sagi strong just to fight the princess recklessly, and that Sagi must wait until Arya activates the rune, at which point he will inject a virus into Sagi that will act as a key to destroy the runes, and Blues angrily points her gun at him, saying that if Blood were alive, he would have gone to save Lisa, promising she will bring Sagi back alive even if it costs her own life, and everyone agrees. Then the scene shifts as they arrive at the battlefield under heavy US Army security, where the colonel sees a distant man suddenly transform into a monster, triggering a barrage of missiles, while Kingdom forces slaughter soldiers elsewhere, all of which Sagi and his allies observe from afar, and Tamaki orders Sagi to enter the rune with Tom while they handle the enemies outside, splitting up, and Tamaki soon faces a Kingdom girl and is attacked from behind by another man whom he kills instantly. While Blues is attacked by a masked woman she quickly recognizes as Lisa, who disarms and attacks her until Blues kicks her away, as chaos spreads with the monster destroying helicopters, leaving the colonel helpless, and suddenly Sherry appears behind him and attacks again, only to be stopped by Aryabhata, who jokes that a movie is boring without a clown, while Sagi and Tom locate the rune entrance 200 meters below, Sagi creating a hole with his tattoo and jumping in, only to face Sherry immediately, narrowly dodging her attack, failing to activate his void, and asking if the princess is inside the rune, threatening to break it, to which Sherry mocks him, boasting that Blood once called her the strongest in Burman, prompting Sagi to reply that he and Blood defeated her together before, and that Blood still lives inside him now, joking that if he wins, she should not fall for him, and elsewhere, Tamaki continues fighting fiercely, while Blues battles Lisa, whose body is controlled by Lily, aided by another man using wires, Blues breaking free but being tripped and attacked again until her allies save her, while she orders them to handle the man as she takes Lisa, declaring that she will not hesitate just because it is Lisa. Blues rushes straight up to Lisa, pins her weapon under her foot, and lands a brutal punch that knocks Lily's spirit clean out of Lisa's body, sending Lily flying away, while on the other side that wired man traps Lawrence in his cables and brutally tears his body apart, then turns toward Tony, but Blues arrives just in time, shoots him, and as he screams in agony she coldly says the bullet carries snake venom before kicking him down. And elsewhere, Tamaki has completely overpowered the Kingdom girl, yet she retreats to a stone, releases sharp thorns all around her, and dares him to come closer. Tamaki charges without hesitation, but at that exact moment, Blues Louise hurls the wired man into the thorns, triggering a massive explosion that Tamaki narrowly escapes, while Sagi continues his intense fight with Sherry, aiming for her chest, only to be severely injured by her counterattacks, though he instantly heals himself using Blood's ability, and when Sherry attacks again, declaring that the princess wants to become a god and abandon her humanity, Sagi grabs her weapon, rips it away, and swears he will never allow that, forcing Sherry to activate her tattoo for a final killing blow. And Sagi realizes that getting even slightly closer will trigger a deadly underground strike, but then Blood's voice echoes inside him, telling him that he is stronger than Blood ever was, stronger even than Sherry. And hearing this, Sagi steps forward, blocks her ultimate attack, survives her leg strike, and before she can finish him, he lands a decisive blow to her chest and defeats her completely. But at that same moment, Aryabhata breaks the rune and emerges, calmly admitting she never expected Sagi to defeat Sherry, and seeing her, Sagi explodes with rage, declaring that she can take everything from him, but he alone will be the one to defeat her, to which Arya smirks and agrees to play, launching relentless attacks that badly injure Sagi again and again, though he keeps healing with Blood's power until he realizes he cannot use his void ability at all, and Arya tells him it is because he is drowning in hatred and anger and has lost his path, then she seizes control of the entire area and begins crushing him with her hand as the scene cuts outside where Blues, Tamaki, and Tom reach the sealed rune entrance, while above them the flying monster is struck by a missile, transforms into a massive sphere, burrows into the ground, devastates the terrain, and is finally destroyed. And everyone rushes back towards Sagi, who is barely dodging Arya's attacks as unbearable pain surges through his body from overusing the tattoo, allowing Arya to erase the ground beneath him, smash him down, and mockingly say that the scientist on his side must know he cannot truly control the tattoo, implying the real plan was for Sagi to die by her hands because poison now flows through his body. But Blues and the others arrive and pull Sagi out, even though he can no longer heal himself, and when Blues tells him to stop fighting, he stubbornly refuses, screaming that he must kill Arya and avenge Tuka, forcing Blues and Tamaki to order Tom to evacuate Sagi while they stay behind to fight. And when Arya attacks Blues, she bends air density to redirect the strike, then asks Tamaki to throw her, yet Arya blocks her attack and counters, though the devastating blow only shatters Blues' artificial arm, allowing Blues to kick Arya down, enraging her so much that she detonates a massive explosion and rises into the air. Just as Sagi jumps from the helicopter to save Blues, catches her mid-air, and swears he will not lose anyone else, but Arya transforms into a monster and swallows them both, prompting the scientist to flip a switch that transforms Sagi into a monster as well, thinking that when facing an unknown monster, only another monster can fight it, revealing that Arya's fatal mistake was linking herself to Sagi by kissing him. And now both monsters clash violently in mid-air, though Arya eventually overpowers Sagi and begins pummeling him as helicopters futilely fire at her without effect, until Tom desperately screams that only Sagi can save the world and begs him to protect 7 billion humans and justice itself. And those words finally awaken Sagi, who unleashes a devastating punch that turns the tide, while Blues regains consciousness and sees blood in front of her, hugging him in tears as he thanks her for waking Sagi and promises it will all end soon. And with his mind clear, Sagi overwhelms Arya with pure martial skills she cannot counter, the scientist explaining that while their power levels match, Arya lacks real combat experience, making this fight fatal for her, and Sagi smashes her down, reaches into her monstrous form, rips Arya out, returns to human form, and prepares the final strike, only for Arya to vanish at the last second, leaving everyone stunned, then relieved and cheering that the princess fled in fear, celebrating their survival as they retreat. And with that, the episode and the series come to an end.